Stephen, I want to start with the Chinese slowdown and the global implications of that, because Australia, Brazil, South Korea, Japan, the U.S. and Germany, to a lesser extent, depend so much on China for their exports.
Well, especially, Scarlet,
the Australias of the world.
Australia and Brazil, the resource economies that are hooked on what I call the old China, which is manufacturing, resource-intensive growth that fuels investment and exports. And they don't want China to change the model. And yet China's changing the model, moving away from the manufacturing to a more of a resource-light, services-based model. And it's a big shock to them, especially as the growth rate now transitions from 10 to 7. But the idea that China's, going from 7 to 0 and the CPI is going from positive to negative is I think, reckless extrapolation at best.
So deflation is not in the cards? I
don't think so. I mean, they've got ample room on monetary and fiscal policy. They deployed their first monetary easing in late November, and there could be more to come if the growth risks break down further.
I want to point out that reckless extrapolation is a pizza parlor up in New Haven, just so you know.
I saw you there once, Tom.
Stephen Roach, the images we've been looking at on television right now are of empty apartment buildings, brand new constructions in China.
You've been looking at those images for 15 years.
No,
I mean, you have guys like Jim Chanos on who always tell you about ghost towns. China moves 15 to 20 million people a year from the countryside to the city. They have to build before the people come. So they show you these apartment buildings before the people come. The first ghost town I saw was Shanghai Pudong. It's fully occupied now.
Well, I'm less interested in the ghost town, but the ghost towns then what has been described as not a cyclical slowdown in primary residences, but a structural slowdown. A movement happened and now it's over. Is that true?
No, not at all.
Okay.
China's doing urbanization between now and 2025. They'll take the urban share of the population from 55 to close to 70%. They're going to build, anywhere from 50 to 75 new cities between now and then to house these new families.
Is the price to this that out of this mini crisis we're in now, that who knows what's going to happen, that finally China gets a voice at the IMF? That Europe gives up some of their rights, and China becomes what you wrote about in The Next Asia and your other 18 books on China?
Well, I think, Tom, what China is also doing is it's moving to get more of a voice in the IMF, but it's also moving to build and lead other institutions in the region where it has a
but I would suggest
role.
$60 oil can be a catalyst for that. Am I right?
Well, I think again, China's got ample resources, I think, to drive its contribution to global multilateral institutions as well as Asia-Pacific regional institutions. And the oil is not really a critical factor in China's ability to express those aspirations.
They can do it with or without.
Quick question. The IMF has a decision coming up. Should it approve the renminbi as a reserve currency?
I think it's premature until the renminbi is fully convertible. You don't want to grant its status as a reserve currency. But they're going in that direction. That's 5 years out.
Okay.
First things first, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
We talk about the shift to urbanization in China, how it's taking place as we speak. One of the costs of all of that is that the air quality in China is horrendous as China becomes much more urban. More than half the days in Beijing are either very unhealthy, hazardous, or unhealthy for sensitive groups. Can China be a leader here in turning around its climate? Leader for the
Look, they don't have any choice, Scarlet, and this is an issue that resonates deeply throughout the country. It's air, it's water, and it's rampant development that contributes to that. They're pushing ahead hugely on alternatives at a low base. They've got a nuclear expansion effort that is certainly very different than the trends of the rest of the world. But they're coal dependent. 70% of their energy is the dirtiest source of fuel known, and they've got to move away from that. They're committed to doing that with this deal that was just signed by Obama and Xi Jinping at the APEC meetings. But it's going to take a long time, and in the meantime, the air quality is going to remain horrific.
Just don't go running any marathons in Beijing, Dr.
They had a Beijing marathon.
I know, they held it anyway.
And,
All right.
I was not a part of that.
Okay.